Hello, YouTube. We need to talk. Fuck, I don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to talk about this. Okay, so, topic of today's video, I understand, is pretty out there. Sexual promiscuity is not something to be taken lightly, although the way I'm going to be talking about it, can be taken lightly. Alright, so, why is sexual promiscuity such a cancer on Western society? Don't get me wrong. I love sex. Feels good, man. I am a perfect example of a hypocrite in this. That does not mean the points are no less true. Let's get the preemptives out of the way. No, I am not coming at this out of a position of bitterness. You might have had a case for that 6 months ago, but honestly, no. You get hurt, you move on. It's that simple. You do not give the person power over you. As a matter of fact, me being a male who dates females, if you are bitter, then scientifically speaking, they do get a psychological kick out of it. In other words, they enjoy the fact that they made you miserable because that means that that they were worth something to you, and by leaving, they hurt you. So, there's no point in being bitter. Move on. If you are bitter right now, you have a right to mourn for a little bit, but dear God, don't go off the handle, because it solves nothing and you end up just looking like a loser. See? You can joke about it. Anyway, that being said, that does not invalidate the points that are about ready to be brought up. Oh dear Lord, let's get into it. Okay, so how did sexual promiscuity start? I believe it started around the mid-50s to 60s, maybe even the 70s during the sexual revolution, which destroyed marriage because now a man can get anything he could get in marriage outside of it. Women were being replaced at this time with washing machines, dryers, dishwashers, maid service, takeout, restaurants, food. She didn't need to cook, clean, or do anything of the sort. The last two playing cards she had were sex and childbearing. But because of the sexual revolution, he could now get that outside of marriage. So there was no point in getting married, aside from the social stigma of not being a married man, which is ludicrous now. Which, as time further went on, more sexual promiscuity was done, more women were cheating on men and becoming adulterous whores during marriage. So, at one point, the feminists cried loud enough, and one of our past presidents decided it was a great idea to have no-fault divorce. Because why would you want to stay with somebody that you're miserable with? Well, it's kind of your fault for staying with, choosing that person to begin with. Just saying, marriage is not something to take lightly, and if you choose someone and you weren't compatible, it was your own goddamn fault. Well, what if they're raping the woman? Most cases that's not the case, but if that were the case, then I could see that. But over 70% of divorces are instigated by women, and let's just say that of all the divorces, I really doubt that the man was raping them. I really doubt the man was beating them. I really doubt that in every case that she was anything but bored. So, little bit of a factoid, and you can Google this yourself, I'm not going to hold your hand. Over 50% of first marriages end in divorce. Over 60% of second marriages end in divorce, and over 70% of third marriages end in divorce. 70% of all of those divorces combined are instigated by women. I severely doubt that the men were actually doing anything wrong. She was just bored and didn't know how to actually communicate properly to fix the situation, or chose poorly. Oh, but the man could have chose poorly too. You're forgetting about the other side. there are two sides to this coin, yes, but I severely doubt that it's just the man's fault. Which then marriage just continued to deteriorate because, okay, here's something that is kind of interesting to think about. Men, humankind, in our infinite wisdom and stupidity, decided we don't exactly know why the marriage contract works the way it does, but it seems like it's oppressing women, so we're just gonna get rid of it without actually thinking it through. Seriously, um, it's kind of like looking at a carburetor and saying, "Oh, hey, look, this carburetor lets in too much fuel but not enough air. Well, what do we do about it? I don't know. Well, let's toss it out. We don't need it. Why won't the fucking truck start?" Yeah, it's that stupid. Marriage was an institution that oppressed both men and women equally for both of their benefit and for the children's benefit. Here's how it worked. Men were we are designed to take more damage and be able to move more mass. We are designed to work. As such, we are designed to work and to fight and defend. As such, we were primarily supposed to take on the dirty and dangerous jobs, and we are primarily supposed to take on the fighting role, the military. If you didn't, you were a coward, you were lazy, and you were useless as a man. This oppressed men to such a degree that they kind of had to do it. They were socially obligated to do so, while women were socially obligated to keep the house clean, take care of the children, cook, clean. But that's just about it. Oh yeah, when he came home, he would get a blowjob, kind of thing. And I'm sorry if a man went out in a dangerous environment where he could die at any moment. When he comes back, he kind of deserves that blowjob. He's earning the money so you can live the way you are. Marriage was a contract and an institution that oppressed them both, so they both could have equal benefit from it. But then again, feminists will always say that no matter anything that oppresses women is therefore evil, which it didn't really oppress you, it just kind of constrains you a bit. You're whining over nothing. But now men are being constrained with little to no benefit, and there's no guarantee the marriage will last. So there's no real reason to get married. Therefore, there's a lot of sexual promiscuity going on because marriage makes no goddamn sense. Because of this, there has been a marked increase in single motherhood with fatherless homes. Which, if you believe it or not, most people in jail and prisons are male. Over 70% of the males in prison and jail were raised by single mothers. I'm pretty sure all of the mass shooters, most of them, like 99% of the mass shooters were male, and almost all of those males were raised by single mothers. Do you see a problem yet? There is a severe correlation that cannot be ignored. And this only cropped up, these problems only really cropped up after no-fault divorce and sexual promiscuity made these things happen. Now, a lot of liberal policies are shit. I'm sorry. Some of them are actually really good. But a lot of them are shit. Now, because single motherhood has risen so goddamn sharply, single mothers who also tend to vote left or liberal, no matter what it is, mostly for the government handouts and whatnot, you can't deny that. It's a fact. It can be proven. Google it. The single mother demographic usually votes leftist. And because of this, they have raised generations of men and women who will also vote left because that is what they have been raised with. Just the same as children who grow up Christian generally have a lot of Christian ideals, even if they don't go to church anymore. It's because they were raised as a Christian, and people who were raised in single mother households were raised leftist. They're going to still have that throughout their adult years. And I'm sorry, leftist policies really don't do much for personal responsibility. And as such, liberalism has become a strain on the system and a burden. Actually, single mothers in general have become a strain on the taxpayer and on the system. Not all of them. I admire the ones who can actually pull it off. If you can do that, I'm not talking about you. You go, girl. That's impressive. But because single mothers are generally a strain on the population, it is not a good thing for a lot of single mothers to be in a society, which is why sexual promiscuity is such a goddamn problem, because that's the root of it. So, as a byproduct of all this bullshit, there's a lot of, the Democratic Party and liberalism in general, because single mothers vote Democrat so big and female votes are so strong, they don't want marriage to be a thing. They'll do anything they can to make it worse. Well, maybe not anything they can. They'll make it worse, and they will run on this platform of empowering women at the expense of marriage and actually being responsible, because it makes more single mothers who will vote for them. There is no reason for Democrats to actually want a nuclear family. There is no reason for Democrats to want a strong man in the household, because a strong man in the household usually votes Republican, and that is bad for them. So, by extension, the Liberal Party are also part and parcel to this problem that is plaguing Western society. And this is why sexual promiscuity is so goddamn bad, and I feel guilty. Because, again, I love pussy, and getting married and tasting vanilla, or tasting one flavor for the rest of my goddamn life, is really fucking boring. But at the same time, sometimes I think, I really would like to get married if there was a guarantee that if I found someone that I would love to settle down with, and I have found a few, but there's no guarantee that she can't just up and decide, hey, she can't just up and decide when things get, she can up and decide when things start to get a little hairy or get a little inconvenient, hey, I have better options elsewhere, I'm going to go. Or, not necessarily better options, because she still has to rekindle that relationship that she had with another person. So in other words, all that time she spent on me, she now has to go through that whole thing over again with someone else. Now I've been in relationships that lasted like 4 years. I date long-term generally, unless I could see that the person's really fucking broken, in which case if they're willing to date, I'll date them until they start proving to be a problem, like becoming extremely bitchy or, becoming really squirrely and starting to cheat. I'm just like, no, fuck you, go, bye. Anyway, there's no guarantee that a marriage is going to last. She can divorce you at any point in time, and you are 90% of the time screwed. So, I'm never getting married until that is fixed. Do I want to get married? I would love to. I would love to have children without the fear of losing everything I have. But that's not going to happen for a long time. So, until that changes, I'm just simply not going to play. Anyway, that's about all I've got for today on this topic. Hoo boy, this has been weird. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. If not, then yeah, okay, it happens. If you didn't like it, please hit the dislike button and let me know in the comments down below so I can make this better. And I hope you have a badass day. Godspeed. Hello, YouTube. We need to talk. Fuck, I don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to talk about this.